Everyone assumed the tattoo on her wrist was nothing but a faded souvenir. They were wrong. It was the one symbol the general swore he'd never see again. She had spent months blending into the background, serving meals in silence, until the day the truth burned its way to the surface. The war room was unusually bright that afternoon, sunlight flooding in through the tall windows and laying harsh stripes across the long table where officers argued over maps and logistics. And there she stood, Mia Ellison, ladling steaming soup into metal bowls with steady hands. Or at least, they seemed steady, until the moment the general's gaze fell upon her wrist. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. At first, it was just a flicker in his eyes, a flash of recognition so sharp it seemed to still the air. The general, a man known for never losing his composure, froze mid-sentence. His voice cracked slightly. "That tattoo," he murmured. "Where did you get it?" The room fell silent. Even the humming overhead lights seemed to dim. Officers glanced at one another, sensing something dangerous unfolding. Mia's heart thudded painfully. She pulled her sleeve down, but it was too late. The general stepped closer, his shadow stretching across the sunlit floor. "It's from Task Unit Greywind," he said. "But that unit was destroyed years ago." Mia swallowed hard. She had promised herself never to speak of it again, never to explain how she, a quiet cook's assistant, had once worn a uniform of her own. She thought she'd never see anyone from that past life again. She was wrong. The general's voice softened, almost pleading. "Tell me your name, your real name." The room felt smaller now. Dust floated in the sunbeams like drifting ash. Mia could hear a metal spoon rattling in her hand. She couldn't make it stop. Officers began whispering among themselves, a nervous crowd gathering behind the general. "Mia Ellison," she whispered. "Unit medic. Greywind." Gasps rippled through the room. A young lieutenant stepped backward, nearly knocking over his chair. Someone muttered, but no survivors were reported. Every face now held the same question. How is she still alive? A micro cliffhanger in human form. Mia steadied her breath. She remembered the screams, the burning hillside, the way smoke curled into the sky as she dragged her teammates into the trees. She remembered leaving behind her best friend, the general's son, believing he was already gone. That guilt had shaped every quiet step she'd taken since. The general's jaw tightened, not in anger, in grief. He whispered his son's name once under his breath, as if summoning a ghost. Then he fixed his gaze on her, with a tremor she had never seen in a commanding officer. "Why didn't you come forward?" he asked. Her voice cracked. "Because I thought I failed him. I thought I failed them all." Outside the open windows, soldiers paused their drills as tension seeped into the air. A few wandered closer, sensing the shift, forming small clusters in the courtyard, a silent audience to the unraveling truth. The general didn't shout, he didn't accuse. Instead, he stepped closer, lowering his voice until it was barely more than a breath. "You didn't fail, you saved him." Mia's knees almost gave out. The world blurred. "Saved," she whispered. "He was found days later," the general continued. "In rough shape, but alive. He wrote that a medic with a Greywind insignia dragged him toward the tree line. He thought he dreamed it. I didn't know it was you." The weight that had crushed her for years, fractured like thin ice. Sunlight warmed her shoulders as the general placed a trembling hand on her arm. Not as a superior officer, but as a father who finally understood the truth. And then he did something no one expected. He saluted her. Every officer in the room followed, one by one, until the entire war room, bathed in bright daylight, stood at attention, honoring the woman who had carried a secret heavier than any weapon. Mia felt tears spill freely. For the first time in years, she didn't hide. Because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. And sometimes it shows up in a sunlit room, when a forgotten tattoo finally tells its story. If this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt tales like this one.